أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن جاءكم فاسق بنبأ فتبينوا أن تصيبوا قوما بجهالة فتصبحوا على ما فعلتم نادمين. واعلموا أن فيكم رسول الله لو يطيعكم في كثير من الأمر لعنتم ولكن الله حبب إليكم الإيمان وزينه في قلوبكم وكره إليكم الكفر والفسوق والعصيان أولئك هم الراشدون فضلا من الله ونعمة والله عليم حكيم. وإن طائفتان من المؤمنين اقتتلوا فأصلحوا بينهما فإن بغت إحداهما على الأخرى فقاتلوا التي تبغي حتى تفيء إلى أمر الله فإن فاءت فأصلحوا بينهما بالعدل وأقسطوا إن الله يحب المقسطين. إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم واتقوا الله لعلكم ترحمون. صدق الله العظيم.
In the name of God, most gracious Mr. Father, on behalf of His Excellency, His Majesty, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz, may God grant him long life. We shall now announce the inauguration, the opening of the 15th session of the Islamic Summit Conference under the theme of consolidating unity and solidarity through dialogue for the benefit of sustainable development. In the name of God, most gracious, and peace and blessings be upon our noble Prophet, Your Excellency President Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of Gambia, Your Excellencies and Highnesses, Your Excellency Mr. Secretary General of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, distinguished participants. I'm highly gratified at the outset to convey to you the greetings of His Majesty King Salman bin Abdul Aziz and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Crown Prince and Prime Minister. May God preserve him. I would like to congratulate the Gambia Republic for its assumption of 15th session of the Islamic Summit, and we pray to God Almighty that this summit will contribute to achieve the Islamic Ummah's aspiration in terms of peace, security and prosperity. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to His Excellency the Secretary General and the General Secretariat and all its staff for their commendable efforts in preparing for this summit and for the efforts put in for the consolidation of joint Islamic action. Honorable participants, the issue of the cause of Palestine remains a priority for the Islamic Ummah since its establishment. It reflects the voice of the Islamic Ummah in support of the brotherly people of Palestine and to ensure that they accede to their rightful justice, as enjoined by the by the international legitimacy. It is regrettable that till today the Israeli aggressions are still ongoing and even being escalated against policies, against hospitals, schools and infrastructure, resulting in thousands upon thousands of victims. Since the launch of the aggressions, the Kingdom has been collaborating with the sisterly and brotherly countries to protect the Palestinian people. The Kingdom reiterates in this respect its demands for the immediate ceasefire and for the provision of safe passages and for the alleviation of the ordeal of the Palestinian people and to ensure their right to self-determination and to the establishment of their independent state. Honorable participants, the Kingdom, as it participates with the Islamic states in terms of solidarity and support for the earlier mission in consolidation of Islamic joint action and for the unification of our ranks at all levels, to face up to the challenges that you all face and to face up to the aggressions and actions of hatred. The Kingdom continues its efforts to bring together the Islamic nations and for initiatives that will consolidate the action of the OIC in settling and resolving international and local and regional peace initiatives. And we continue our efforts at all levels, local, regional, international. Honorable participants, the Kingdom reiterates the importance of consolidated action for peace in Yemen towards a comprehensive settlement that would lift the ordeal of the Yemeni people. The Kingdom reiterates the importance of stability of Syria and the reestablishment of peace and security, and to fight against terrorist groups and to prevent the passage of drugs through its territories and to thus facilitate the return of the refugees. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia underlines the importance of sovereignty of the Sudan so that it may play its role in support of the Sudani people towards a better future. The Kingdom also reiterates the right of the Libyan people to elect their unified government that will represent the Libyan legitimacy under full unity and to get rid of the mercenaries all across the Islamic world. The Kingdom reiterates the need to re-establish the unity of Somalia and its territorial sovereignty and calls upon the international community to work towards that effect and to work for the establishment of peace and security all across the world. Honorable participants, the Kingdom reiterates the need to restructure and reform the OIC and develop its infrastructure to work hand in hand with the international community and to ensure joint Islamic action, and that we support full determination, political determination to reform our organization and so that it may rise to the appropriate position internationally as the second largest international organization. In conclusion, I pray to God Almighty to guide our steps towards success in this session for the aspiration of our goals and aspirations. Wassalamu alaikum. we now announce the formation of the members of the Bureau, Gambia as President, Djibouti as Vice Chairman, Islamic Republic of Pakistan as representative of the Asian Group as Vice Chairman, Palestine as Vice Chairman, and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as Rapporteur. Thus, I announce the approval and adoption of this Bureau. Now, I shall hand over the chairmanship to His Excellency the President of the Republic of Gambia, wishing His Excellency the President full success in chairing this meeting. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much, the chair of the 14th Summit. We now invite the Secretary General to address the gathering.
You won't finish.
Her Excellency, President Adam Barrow, President of the Republic of the Gambia, Chair of the 15th Islamic Summit. Your Royal Highness, Your Highness Prince Faisal bin Farhan, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Your Majesties, Excellencies, and Highnesses. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. At the outset, I would like to express my heartfelt congratulations to His Excellency Mr. Adam Barrow, President of the Republic of the Gambia, and to the government and people of the Gambia on the significant occasion of the Gambia's assumption of the presidency of the 15th Islamic Summit, wishing them every success. And for the summit success,
At the close of the summit, led by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, I wish to express our gratitude to the custodian of the two mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, and the Crown Prince, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud, Chairman of the 14th Summit. May Allah preserve them and grant them support for all the actions they have done at the head of the Islamic Summit, and also for the success that you have noted for the benefit of our organization since its establishment, so as to allow it to fulfill its noble mission. This is the sum of a rich action and initiatives that has been undertaken at the local and international level with full commitment and concretization of the principle of Islamic solidarity and commitment in favor of Islamic common and joint action. We are confident that the Republic of the Gambia will follow during its mandate the footsteps of the 14th session in the process and the full commitment that is well recognized by all of us in favor of joint Islamic action and in defense of the causes of Islamic Ummah. Your Highnesses, Your Excellencies, Honorable ladies and gentlemen, the present Islamic Summit comes within a context of serious and grave developments, unprecedented ones, particularly regarding the cause of Palestine, and particularly the persistent crimes and brutal military aggression on the part of the Israelis against the Palestinian defenseless people, particularly in the Gaza Strip, along with the colonial policies and the ethnic cleansing and the actions against the city of Jerusalem and the attacks that constitute in their totality war crimes, and call upon the international community to put an end to the aggression against the Palestinian people and put an end to the policies of occupation perpetrated by Israel, and to demand that they recognize the international legitimacy and the state of Palestine, that the Palestinians may accede to the statute of full member of the United Nations. We need to mobilize action in favor of the rights of the Palestinian people, particularly their right to return, and the mobilization and establishment of their independent state on the lines of June 1967, with Al-Quds as its capital, in conformity with the pertinent and relevant resolutions of the United Nations and the peace initiative of the Arab League. All participants, the right to self-determination of Jammu and Kashmir constitutes as well a priority for our organization. We give particular attention, and the representative of Kashmir, Yusuf Muhammad Zubayr, our envoy to Jammu and Kashmir, has ensured the follow-up of this issue, particularly through the multiple visits that he has paid to Jammu and Kashmir and to the Islamic Republic of Pakistan in order to take cognizance of the situation and to report their own implementation of the resolution of the Islamic Summit and the Council of Foreign Ministers. In parallel, given the reports, the contact group on Jammu and Kashmir. With regard to the follow-up of the situation in Afghanistan, the OIC has fulfilled its commitment to the humanitarian approach and the constructive dialogue with the de facto authority in conformity with the relevant resolutions of the United Nations Security and the Foreign Ministers Conference. I here call upon all member states to contribute generously to the fund, the endowment set up for the benefit of Afghanistan under the supervision and management of the Islamic Development Bank, which has developed enormous and commendable efforts in order to ensure the establishment of the fund and to continue action to face up to the challenges met by the Afghani people. With regard to the constructive dialogue with the de facto authority in Afghanistan, my special envoy, His Excellency Ambassador Tariq Baghit, has followed up and continued his visits to Afghanistan and his coordination with the member states, not only with the international organizations, particularly the United Nations. And in this framework, these efforts have meant that we have dispatched missions of ulama, scholars, and together with the Human Rights Independent Commission of the OIC for the development of women, to discuss issues of education of women and work for women. We hope that these efforts will be continued with the holding of a broader meeting of scholars together with their colleagues from Afghanistan under the auspices of the Islamic Fiqh Academy and in coordination with the General Secretariat of the OIC. Your Highnesses, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the ordeal followed by certain member countries, I have in mind Libya, Yemen, Sudan, the Sahel region, dialogue and reconciliation are the only means that would enable us to resolve these problems so that these countries may guide their steps towards stability and prosperity and development. The preservation of the territorial integrity and the sovereignty of our member states is a fundamental issue for us. I wish here to pay special tribute to all the member states that have taken initiatives to deploy efforts in favor of the peaceful settlement of the situation in some of our countries by encouraging the parties concerned to get together around the negotiation table. Moreover, the political situation remains the only pathway to remedy the current crises and to continue preventing problems and ensure development through peaceful means, particularly through mediation, which is an objective for organization that is used to strengthen our capacities in these fields. In conformity with the resolutions of the Islamic Summit and the Council of Foreign Ministers, our organization has pursued its support for the sovereignty of the Republic of Azerbaijan over all its territories, as well as the unity of the Federal Republic of Somalia and its independence, its sovereignty, and its security. We, in addition to our solidarity with the Cypriot Turks, in parallel with our support for Bosnia-Herzegovina and Kosovo and the defense of well-being and dignity and integrity and religious and cultural freedom of the communities in non-member states, particularly through constructive dialogue with the authorities of many of the members of the countries in question. On the other hand, I cannot fail, Mr. Chairman, to hail the avant-gardist role played by your country, the Gambia, in the defense of the Muslim community in Rohingya towards the International Criminal Court. I wish to appeal to all member states to extend every support in this regard. I wish to reiterate also our profound gratitude to the People's Republic of Bangladesh and other member states for hosting refugees from Rohingya. Your Excellencies, the struggle, the fight against terrorism and extremism constitute an item on our consistent agenda. Our fight against religious hatred continue to call for action for the action against these challenges. The profanation of the Quran also represent a major challenge that call for our continued action within our organization. Several meetings have taken place, as a matter of fact, that have resulted in important resolutions. Also, the organization and its member states have undertaken various initiatives at the international level. Foremost of its results has been the proclamation by the General Assembly of the United Nations on the 15th of March as an International Day for the fight against Islamophobia. The implementation of the results of the CFM resolutions and the Executive Committee that have called for the designation of Special Envoy regarding the fight against Islamophobia. I would like to inform your august assembly that my consultations have reached to the designation of Dr. Mehmed Fafasi as such, as an envoy. I would like you to approve this designation. We shall continue to cooperate with the international community in order to fight against the intolerance and discrimination and hatred, and to promote interreligious dialogue, intercultural dialogue as well. At the legal level, the General Secretariat is following with its efforts. And thus, the number of states that have ratified the Charter of the OIC has reached 40. And it's our hope that the ratification of the amendment, according to which periodicity of the Islamic Summit has moved from 3 to 4 years for the Islamic Summit. Also, actions are continued for the impact on the work of the OIC. I would like also to underline the importance and the finalization of the signing and ratification of all the legal instruments of the OIC, bearing in mind that some of the organs and important institutions of the organization have not yet seen the light on account of the non-achievement of the legal quorum for their institution. In another context, regarding the status of observer at the organization has reached higher numbers from governmental and non-governmental organizations. I exhort all member states to come out with an appropriate formula to follow favorably the demands or the candidacies for such status. At the institutional and organic level, the General Secretariat continues to coordinate with the Islamic Development Bank and the Islamic Center for the Development of Trade their action for the creation of mechanisms to settle differences for the benefit of the Islamic Ummah within the framework of the OIC's action for the protection of investments. Also, the global reform of the organization should help us call for meetings for the benefit of the reform so as to achieve the aspired goals within the legal framework. The General Secretariat is doing its utmost with the contribution of the State of Kuwait to consolidate and approve the necessary means to approve and to reach the quorum so that the International Court of Justice may enter into action at the Islamic level. We have in mind the catastrophes and difficulties that have been witnessed in recent years that have reached higher levels that have resulted in greater levels of poverty and precarity in certain member states. I'd like to call on you to step up efforts in order to finance humanitarian action within the framework of our organization and its various organs and institutions. I therefore appeal to this August Assembly and the Member States to make donations for the benefit of the Islamic Solidarity Fund as a humanitarian branch of the OIC in order to enable them to give full assistance to the affected countries. The General Secretariat and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia are working together for the convening of the Conference of Donors for the region, for the benefit of the Sahel and Lake Chad region. I dare rely on all the member states in this conference to contribute generously to this action. Within the framework of science and technology and health and environment, we call for the optimal usage of modern technologies to face up to the challenges and to ensure optimal appropriate solutions at the levels of the various countries and the protection of the environment. The General Secretariat's organs are doing its utmost in order to build up their efforts for greater cooperation between the member states to take up the challenges regarding environment and climate change. At the cultural level, we are working in close cooperation with the member states and the various OIC institutions for the organization of cultural important events and to encourage the convening of multidisciplinary festivals aimed at intensifying consolidated cooperation, bearing in mind the cultural diversity of the Islamic world, and to celebrate the rich cultural heritage of our countries. Within the framework, we give particular attention to youth and sports and the promotion of their good well-being within the OIC. We have created a special department within the General Secretariat of the OIC to handle such issues. Our organization is continuing its action for the promotion of and the preservation of the rights and values and the institution of the family and marriage within the various aspects, and we call upon all the international fora to help us in that respect, to build up the rights of women, children, old people, and specific needs people in various fields. In terms of training, the various institutions of the Islamic Ummah, we have called for the restructuring of various institutions regarding INA, the Information and Radio Television Institution, ISBU, in collaboration with the relevant Permanent Organization for Cultural Affairs, COMIAC, and other similar institutions interested in information. On the other hand, the organizations launched a call for a media observatory at the level of the General Secretariat to expose the actions taken against the Palestinians in the occupied territories. We have called for a legal observatory in implementation of the resolution taken by the extraordinary summit that was held in Riyadh on 11th November 2022. In that regard, honorable ladies and gentlemen, in the field of socio-economic sustainable development, we have given priority to these effects in the intra-OIC cooperation. We have paid particular attention for the creation of the necessary required mechanism for multilateral cooperation. In this regard, I would like to express satisfaction with the launch since 1st of June 2022 a mechanism for the consolidation of cooperation such as to help us achieve the targeted level of intra-Islamic trade of 22% by the year 2025. We are also proud of the establishment of the Labor Center in Baku that would help greater cooperation in the field of health, security, employment, and capacity building and social protection in the member states. At another level of action, we are satisfied with the help and offers put in for the establishment of a program, a 10-year program that will end by the year 2025. We fully rely on the full participation of the member states for the establishment of more programs for the years 26-36. Your Excellencies, allow me on this occasion to remind ourselves of the particular importance of the payment of contributions to the budget of the General Secretariat and subsidiary organs, and also the settlement of their arrears that have been accumulated over many years. I'm thankful to the member states that are fully contributing regularly and call upon the other member states to redouble their efforts so as to enable the organization to fulfill its commitments and concretize the activity programs as elaborated by the member states. Regarding the report that is before you, that deals with all issues and the way in which the organization is handling these matters, we look forward to your decisions concerning the following stages to be followed in order to go forward on the path of the achievement of the objectives of our organization and to respond to the aspirations of the member states and to strengthen the organization's role at the international scene. In conclusion, I wish your proceedings full success for the strengthening of our solidarity, our joint action. Thank you for your kind attention. Wassalam.
Your Majesties, Your Highnesses, Your Excellencies, Heads of State and government, Secretary General of the OIC, our distinguished guests of honor, honorable ministers, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I feel extremely honored and uniquely privileged to welcome all the illustrious leaders, eminent personalities, and distinguished delegates and guests in our midst to this 15th summit of the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation, OIC. I very warmly welcome you all with great pride and delight on behalf of the entire government and the people of the Republic of the Gambia, including my humble self as your host. Feel at home on the smiling coast of Africa and enjoy every moment of your stay with us. Your Majesty's Excellencies and distinguished guests, after several unavoidable postponements, we have eventually converged for this eagerly awaited auspicious Islamic Summit. For this achievement, I express most profound appreciation and gratitude to His Majesty King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, custodian of the two holy mosques and chair of the 14th OIC Summit, and Crown Prince and Prime Minister, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, for the laudable work done during the Kingdom's tenure as chair of the OIC over the past 3 years. Their immense financial and material support allow us to make all the necessary preparations for the occasion. In the same vein, I sincerely commend the OIC Secretary General and his staff for magnificently running the organization's affairs since his appointment. Their delegation and tireless efforts hugely contribute to the success of our collective endeavors. Relatedly, allow me to extend our heartfelt gratitude to the President of the People's Republic of China, His Excellency President Xi Jinping. His contribution towards the construction of this splendid state-of-the-art conference center is remarkably invaluable. The center symbolizes our unity and stands as a testament to the enduring partnership between our two countries. Its benefits to the Gambian nation cannot be overemphasized, as it fosters economic growth and enables us to host such prestigious gatherings, thus boosting our international standing. Your Majesties, Your Excellencies, and distinguished guests, you have convened here today with the awareness that the Muslim world faces numerous challenges, ranging from the calamities of terrorism to factional violence and armed conflicts. Amid this unrest, we must reaffirm our commitment to mediation and dialogue as indispensable mechanism to resolve conflict and foster lasting peace. It is fitting, therefore, that the theme for this 15th session is enhancing unity and solidarity through dialogue and sustainable development. Excellencies, esteemed delegates, since the OIC seeks to promote solidarity and unity among Muslims around the world and find solutions to their problems, this summit provides a unique opportunity for member states to strengthen relations through dialogue, share experiences for deeper mutual understanding, and adopt innovative resolutions that go beyond national borders to foster collective peace and inclusive, sustainable development. A viable route to achieve these objectives lies in sustained cordial relations within an environment of trust and cooperation. As President of the Republic of the Gambia and Chairman of the OIC for the next 3 years, we pledge to promote unity, solidarity, and sustainable development within the Islamic world. Our approach will include prioritizing initiatives that enhance economic cooperation, foster cultural exchange, and address pressing issues such as poverty and access to education and healthcare. In collaboration with other member states, the Gambia stands committed to championing the cause of peace and stability in regions troubled by conflict. We advocate implementing diplomatic solutions and providing humanitarian assistance to alleviate the suffering of distressed people. Through proactive engagement and meaningful dialogue, we will encourage unity and solidarity among member states based on a shared vision of a peaceful, prosperous, and equitable future for all. In this context, it is essential to address the prolonged conflict in Palestine and the devastating wars in Gaza. Those encounters have caused endless human suffering for over 75 years. Certainly, the plight of the Palestinians is a matter of grave concern, not only to the Muslim Ummah, but also to the entire world. The ongoing violence, instability in the region, and humanitarian crisis in Gaza continue to make the prospects of peace remote. In fact, the hostilities pose a serious threat to regional stability and global peace. I call upon member states to take decisive action to address the root causes of the conflict and work towards a just and lasting solution. This should include convening a comprehensive peace conference for all stakeholders to negotiate a settlement that provides for the rights, dignity, security, and sovereignty of the communities affected. In our view, military action is not an option. Rather, we endorse a peace accord based on a two-state solution. This proposal is to guarantee both states the rights to full sovereignty and self-determination. Further, we affirm the need to enable the Palestinian people to regain their legitimate national rights, as recognized by the international community through its recognition of a state of Palestine within the 1967 borders with Al-Quds and Al-Sharif as its capital. At this point, allow me to comment and express our gratitude to His Majesty King Mohammed VI, Chairman of the Al-Quds Committee, for his strong commitment in defending the Islamic character of the holy city of Al-Quds Al-Sharif, to maintain peace and lasting peaceful coexistence in the entire region. As leaders of the Islamic world, we must seize this opportunity to chart a new course towards peace and reconciliation. Let us recommit ourselves to the principles of justice, equality, and mutual respect. Act collectively to end the suffering of the Palestinian people and build a future of peace and prosperity for all. I commend South Africa for its recent decision to take Israel to the International Court of Justice, following in our footsteps to seek justice under the Genocide Convention. This bold move illustrates the collective commitment of the international community to the principle of justice and human rights. It sends a powerful message that impunity for grave violations of international law, such as those committed against the Palestinian people, will not be tolerated. We stand in solidarity with South Africa and all those who advocate justice and accountability, and we pledge our support for their efforts to seek redress for the victims of atrocities committed by Israel. Your Excellencies, I am proud to state that in its capacity as chair of the ad hoc OIC Ministerial Committee on Human Rights Violations against the Rohingya people, the Gambia is actively pursuing the legal proceedings filed against Myanmar in the quest for justice and accountability. We consider it an obligation to stand in solidarity with the oppressed and vulnerable populations and champion the cause of human rights in accordance with the principles of the Genocide Convention. The legal case of the Rohingya pursued by the Gambia at the ICJ boldly represents concerted international effort to address the ongoing human rights crisis in Myanmar and ensure accountability. The Gambia's initiative has received widespread support. Numerous countries, human rights organizations, and legal experts endorse our action and call for justice for the Rohingya people. I invite member states to contribute towards meeting the legal fees for this legal battle and urge that we stand in solidarity against oppression and atrocity. Your Excellencies, under the Gambia's chairmanship of the OIC, agreed strategies and initiatives will be implemented to promote solidarity, unity, and problem-solving among member states. The approach will aim at advancing the organization's main objectives. The Gambia is thus willing to enhance dialogue, cooperation, and mediation to resolve conflicts among member states. Excellencies, unfortunately, underdevelopment characterizes many member states. Hence, poverty, inequality, and natural disasters make humanitarian assistance and development aid necessary. The need is also obvious for significant capacity building and technical assistance to address the governance, healthcare, education, and infrastructure development requirements in certain member states. By addressing such development challenges, peace and stability would be guaranteed. With peace, the organization can promote the rich Islamic cultural heritage and values through cultural exchange programs and educational initiatives. In the process, we can proudly showcase our Muslim identities worldwide to promote peace, understanding, and solidarity. Esteemed delegates, we live in a world that requires religious tolerance, which does not imply abandoning one's beliefs or values. It is simply a means of promoting peace, understanding, respect, and dialogue within the Muslim world and across communities and religious groups. Additionally, member states should promote and increase economic cooperation and trade among themselves. This has the prospect of showcasing the shared values of the Islamic Ummah and sharing the blessings Allah has bestowed on many of our member countries. Such strategies could equally contribute to fulfilling the aspirations of young people in search of better livelihood. It is wise as well that we harness our diversity to devise strategies that respond to the demands of change and reform. But this must be informed by our noble values, ideas, and objectives. In conclusion, let us reaffirm our commitment to justice, equality, and mutual respect, and redelegate ourselves to the honorable cause of advancing the interests of the Muslim Ummah and humanity. May this summit serve to fulfill our vision of unity and solidarity through dialogue and sustainable development, and act as a catalyst for positive change to pave the way for a world of peace, security, and prosperity for all generations. I pray also that the future is filled with joy and marked by reconciliation, harmony, and progress for the OIC, the Muslim Ummah, and humanity at large. I thank you for your kind attention.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Pray and peace be upon the Holy Prophet and his companions and families. President Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of Republic of the Gambia, chairperson of the Islamic Summit, and Ibrahim Taha, Secretary General of the OIC. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I am delighted we at the Islamic Development Bank to participate in this great summit, and I would like to express my deep gratitude to His Excellency Adama Barrow, President of the Islamic Development Bank, and to the government and people of the Gambia for the warm welcome and generous hospitality that we have received, and for the arrangements they have made in connection with this summit. I would like to express my deep gratitude to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia under the leadership of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman Ibn Abdul Aziz, and his crown prince, Mohammed bin Salah. May God protect them for their generous hospitality and their directions to the Islamic Development Bank and the OIC, as well as other organizations that serve the Ummah. And this continued support plays an important role in the enhancement of peace, harmony, and sustainable development in the world. And the Islamic Development Bank expresses its sadness at the destruction that is being afflicted on the people on Gaza, in terms of especially plight, and express its condolences to the victims and express its solidarity with them during this difficult time. So we also express our solidarity with countries that have been afflicted with natural disasters recently, and also that are affected by various conflicts. And the Islamic Development Bank is determined to provide effective assistance to efforts to reconstruct these various affected or devastated areas. Your Excellencies, Highnesses, Excellencies, your institution, the Islamic Development Bank, last week celebrated its 50th anniversary under the theme Pride of Our Past and believe in our future, and is a requirement for progress and solidarity. And a celebration of 50 years of solidarity and cooperation is a source of transformation. So the financing provided by the Islamic Development Bank since its inception up to 2023-24 has exceeded 282 billion US dollars. And covers or comprises 11,000 projects in all development sectors. And one of the major lessons that we have learned during this journey is that there is a solid link between peace and development, and the right way to ensure sustainable development is to ensure an environment of peace, stability, and social security. So sustainable development and social development in general are a pillar of peace, stability, and harmony. So the success of the Islamic development in ensuring change and transformation in countries of our or people of our member countries, and the rating, the AAA rating provided by rating agencies is a success that is due after the grace of Allah, due to your own support, you member states of the IDB, for your continued support. And it is worth noting that the cooperation that exists between various member states have played an important role in our collective success. So in this regard, I would like to commend the OIC for ensuring and promoting unity through sustainable development and dialogue, which is the theme of this year's conference. And the Islamic Development Bank is ensuring that it continues its cooperation with the Organization of Islamic Cooperation in order to ensure the success of this conference or this summit. Your Highnesses, Your Excellencies, I am delighted to announce to you that one of the major outcomes of the annual meetings of the IDB, the annual meeting of the IDB last week, in coincidence with the 50th anniversary of the Islamic development, is a declaration in Riyadh. And under that declaration, the Board of Governors has made a declaration to provide continued assistance to the IDB, and that is to achieve the noble objectives of the IDB, and this is the most important step that ensures its future. And under these directives, the Board of Direct Governors has urged the IDB to do the following. First of all, to continue to improve the organizational chart of the Islamic Development Bank Group in order to achieve the ideal levels of performance and financial sustainability. Number two, to provide consistently loans through various institutions that will ensure mobilization of resources in order to meet the financing needs, increasing finance needs of member states, especially the least development member states. Number three, increase the grants through partnerships and international fora that ensure the supplementary resources that will meet the development needs, increasing development needs to help vulnerable segments of our society in our member states and Muslim communities, especially when it comes to disasters and hardships. Number four, to come up with a strategic approach of the IDB with regard to the Islamic finance sector, especially when it comes to sukuk, and to broaden the Islamic financial capital markets, international and regional. Number five, to ensure to come up with a strategy when it comes to cooperation or South-South cooperation by enhancing partnership and the exchange of expertise. In this regard, Your Excellencies and Your Highnesses, we look forward to your continued support to the Islamic Development Bank, and we will continue our mission so as to strengthen, at the end of the day, the collective prosperity of the Ummah and its citizens. Thank you to all of you, your heads of state. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. We thank you for your kind attention. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And prayer and peace be upon the Holy Prophet, our Master Muhammad and his household, Your Excellencies, Highnesses, dear participants, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. I would like at the beginning of my statement to express my deep gratitude to President Adama Barrow and to the government and people of the Republic of the Gambia for the warm welcome and generous hospitality in its effort to host the 15th Islamic Summit, which ensures dialogue and solidarity in order to ensure sustainable development. So at this juncture, I would like to express deep gratitude to the previous chairmanship ensured by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia that conducted the organization ably in order to ensure Islamic solidarity in all areas. Your Excellencies, Highnesses, and Highnesses, we are meeting today at a time when the world is going through many developments, and among these critical developments, the Islamic organization, Islamic Summit, and other organizations are trying to overcome the various developments in our region. The common or joint challenges, or the challenges that we face, is to overcome the difficulties that we face, especially under these circumstances when Gaza and Palestine are coming under difficult, serious aggression. And also we commend the extraordinary summit held by the Arab League in Riyadh last year, and from which stemmed a ministerial committee and that informed and exposed to the whole world the plight and suffering of the people in Gaza when it comes to the protection of civilians during this period. And we commend the effort of this committee in order to put an end to aggression in Gaza, and also in solidarity with Arab positions in the Gulf and everywhere. And today, we, after 211 days, after 12 during which the plight of the Palestinian people has increased, and under the occupation of Israeli forces, over 32,000 children and women have been suffering, and there are over 5,000 casualties. And this affects and threatens our stability in the light of all crises that take place in the Middle East. So this Israeli occupation and also aggression requires from us to be committed to collective action in support of the people of Palestine and their rights. So in this regard, we would like to confirm the important role that our organization is playing in the interest of peace and stability and the fight against terrorism that threatens international stability. So here we can indicate the relevance of the Security Council to host and organize international conference to ensure stability in the entire world. So because of all these difficulties that face you, we have to promote the peace of solidarity. We should ensure solidarity and stability among us. Your Excellencies and Highnesses, based on the theme of this summit, that is solidarity and peace, in order to ensure solidarity and dialogue, we have to shed light on the importance of sustainable development in the agenda of the Gulf Cooperation Council and the Organization of Islamic Conference. This requires from all of us joint action in order to overcome the challenges, economic challenges that affect our countries and peoples. So in this regard, we should consolidate cooperation in science and technology in order to support sustainable development projects. And since the youth are the backbone of the Muslim Ummah, in this regard, we should provide all support to them through education and training, and provide employment opportunities for them, and boost their capacities. And through that, we can ensure strong societies that can participate effectively in the international arena. Your Excellencies, Your Highnesses, I would like to conclude my statement by drawing your kind attention to two important issues. First of all, the members of the Gulf Cooperation Council are proud of their belonging to the Muslim world at all levels, and it will extend a hand of cooperation to all Muslim countries, because it believes in the importance of this generosity and to strengthen these ties and relations based on our religion. And number two, I would like to commend the major efforts that are being made by the Republic of the Gambia, especially when it comes to hosting this summit that promotes the values of our organization. Let us all work for the unity of our Muslim Ummah, governed by the spirit of peace and stability. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. And thank you for your kind attention.
I give the floor to the Chief Guest of Honor, representative of the People's Republic of China's President.
From there.
尊敬的巴罗总统，尊敬的法哈秘书长，尊敬的伊斯兰各国领导人，感谢巴罗总统邀请出席伊斯兰合作。
To President Barrow for your kind invitation. China attaches great importance to develop relations with the Islamic world. President Xi Jinping designated me as his special representative to attend this summit. First of all, it's my honor to read the congratulatory message from President Xi Jinping as follows. On the occasion of the opening of the 15th Summit of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, I would like to extend, on behalf of the Chinese government and people, warm congratulations to the summit. The OIC is a symbol of unity and cooperation among Islamic countries and has made important contribution to strengthening cooperation among
السلم في العالم وذلك qui compose la
同伊斯兰世界
and the Islamic world are good friends and good partners. Our friendly relations have a time-honored history. In recent years, the two sides have enjoyed mutual support on issues concerning each other's core interests and major concerns, and achieved fruitful outcomes in practical cooperation. Our friendly cooperation and relationship has grown in quality and moved to higher levels, setting a fine example for South-South cooperation. And present transformation not seen in a century is accelerating across the globe, which further underscores the strategic significance of solidarity and cooperation between China and the Islamic world. China stands ready to work with Islamic countries to carry forward traditional friendship, enhance political mutual trust, deepen practical cooperation, promote inter-civilizational exchanges, and act upon the Global Development Initiative, the Global Security Initiative, and the Global Civilization Initiative to make greater contribution to the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. I wish the summit a full success. President of the People's Republic of China, Xi Jinping, in Beijing. At end of the message from President Xi Jinping. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, China and Islamic countries enjoys traditional friendship. We are all developing countries with the same wish and aspiration for peace and development. We are good friends, promoting the development of our respective countries. We are good partners, safeguarding world justice and fairness. In the face of changes of the world, of our times, and of historical significance, China and the Islamic world should carry forward our traditional friendship, enhance solidarity and cooperation, and constantly elevate our relationship to new heights. We should uphold independence and depend strategic mutual trust. China firmly supports Islamic countries in independently exploring development paths and stands ready to jointly safeguard the principle of non-interference with Islamic countries support each other in safeguarding respective core interests and national dignity. We should strengthen mutually beneficial cooperation, promote development and revitalization. China is ready to work with the Islamic countries to promote high-quality Belt and Road cooperation, enhance synergy of development strategies, carry out cooperation in fields such as energy, trade, infrastructure, AI, and set a fine example for South-South cooperation. We should expand inter-civilizational dialogue and commit ourselves to inclusiveness and mutual learning. China is ready to expand people-to-people exchanges and communication with Islamic countries. We should jointly oppose the so-called Islamophobia, oppose linking terrorism with any particular ethnic group or religion, and carry forward the common values of humanity and set a fine example for inter-civilizational exchanges in the new era. We should promote lasting peace and pursue universal security. China stands ready to work with Islamic countries to explore solutions to hot issues that best serve the fundamental interests of developing countries. The conflict in the Gaza Strip has dragged on for more than 200 days, causing heavy civilian casualties and severe humanitarian disasters. Facing the grave situation, China calls for an immediate ceasefire and ending the violent protection of civilians, alleviation of the humanitarian crisis, and a political settlement. China supports the establishment of an independent state of Palestine that enjoys full sovereignty on the basis of the 1967 borders and with East Jerusalem as its capital. We will continue to support concerted actions and a strong voice of the Islamic countries and work with Islamic countries. We will support the full membership of Palestine in the United Nations. And we will work with the Islamic world for an early, just, and sustainable solution to the Palestinian question. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, this summit is themed with enhancing unity and solidarity through dialogue for sustainable development, which mirrors the common aspiration of the Islamic countries to seek strength through unity, to develop and revitalize. China highly commends that. Once again, I want to thank you for inviting China to attend the OIC Summit, which reflects the common aspiration of China and the Islamic countries of respect and trust for each other and reaching out for each other. China will continue to work with Islamic countries, contribute to peace and development of Islamic countries and the whole world. I wish the summit a full success. Thank you.
We have now get to the end of the opening session. Now we will take a break for 15 minutes and we continue with our closed door sessions. Thank you.